Good evening, YouTubers. This is going to be a VR to Waves of Java. But before that, my housekeeping. Sorry again, my pipe's gone out. I don't know, I'm not doing well today. I'm smoking my skull pipe in honour of Halloween. It's a lovely little pipe. It's got some nice markings on it. And I intend to put a pair of red eyes in it at some point. And in it, I've got the last dregs of Ye Old Stogie. Again, one that I was given. I'm really enjoying the different packets that I was given. I've been putting off doing this VR because I haven't quite known what to say or what one that I would like to live by. They all have their benefits and their advantages. But I've finally decided that I'd like to live by the ocean. Presumably that I'd be allowed to have fishing gear and that kind of thing. But I just love the sea. I mean, I was born in Norfolk, and we have a tradition of sailors, Nelson and all the other sailors that sailed out of Norfolk. We have the great lifeboat men, some who were recognised and honoured, and we had the great herring fleets coming in. And I remember so much about the sea and the places where we were. And there's something magic about the sea. If you look at a sailor, he's got those faraway eyes. He's seen the great storms and the great blows. And to be camped by the sea for a month, hopefully in a secluded sandy beach where nobody else goes, and where I could sit with my pipe and tobacco and just think, get close to what's really important in life and in the world. Maybe learn to fish, do some fishing. Learn to look after myself. I don't know sort of how well I'd do. I'm not sort of an outdoor guy really, or, I've had a life of survival and that kind of thing. Quite the opposite really. But I would hope if I did camp by the ocean or the sea, that I'd see a big storm as well as the calm and the other ways of the sea. There are so many different varieties, so many different colours, so many different sounds. And it really would be, I think, quite nice. I thought of the river and the forest and, again, sort of the image of the backwoodsman. But I'm not really the stuff of that. I'm not the stuff of heroes or of greatness, but I am the stuff of the sea, I think. Our school hymn used to be Eternal Father, strong to save. And, you know, I know sort of the old sailors' hymns from the sailors' mission. You know, will your anchor hold in the storms of life and all that kind of thing. And although a lot of the fishing's gone, there's still that great history. You know, the leaving of Yarmouth Harbour, searching for the shoals of herring, the silver darlings, that were so plentiful that if you went down the docks when they were unloading the herrings, one of the sailors, one of the fishermen would take half a dozen of them, wrap them in some paper, throw them at you and say, take those home to your mother. So that's that part of it. And then you ask about hobbies. And I mean, I've got several sort of minor hobbies, I think. You know, I like reading. Reading's sort of a really big one. But also I have collected all the generals of the Civil War who were in Masonic orders before the war. To give you an idea of the kind of information I've got, I'll give you two examples, one from the north, one from the south. And they're all on pages like this, and I've got a folder full of them. This one's Winfield Scott, known as Old Fuss and Feathers. He was born on June the 13th, 1776, near Petersburg. He died on May the 29th, 1866, at West Point, New York. His Masonic information I've got was that he was a member of Dinwiddie Union Lodge. The Union Lodge not being union as in the Union and the Confederacy, but meaning unity between the members. And he was a member of Lodge 23 and Lodge 125. He was made a Mason in 1805 in Virginia in the Union Lodge. And his pre-war profession was a soldier. He fought in every war from 1812, the Mexican Wars, the Indian Wars, and was made Commander-in-Chief of the Army. His war service in the Civil War, 1861, he was Major General. He'd been made that since 1841. He was Union Commander-in-Chief and conceived the Anaconda Plan. And he retired in 1861, when McClellan was made Commander of the Army of the Potomac. Post-war, he wrote his memoirs, and he travelled. And I've even got what stamps he's on. He's on 2 American stamps. 1936, 1 American stamp. And the catalogue number is SG782. And I've got further information on him on that page. The Confederate general I've chosen, I'll show you, was James Lawson Kemper. I believe he was killed in the defence of Richmond, but I'm not sure about that. I'll read it and have a look. He was born June the 11th, 1823 in Madison City. And he died in April the 7th, 1895 in Orange City. So he wasn't killed in the war. He was a member of Lynn Banks Lodge, number 126 in Virginia, and he was a past master. That meant that he'd been master of the lodge, running the lodge in the Chair of Solomon. His war service in 1861, pre-war he was in the Mexican War, and he was a lawyer and a politician. War service 1861, Colonel of the 7th Virginia, 1st Manassas, the battle he was in. June 1862, Brigadier General in Longstreet's division. 7 Pines, 7 Days and 2nd Manassas, and South Mountain, Sharpsburg, and Fredericksburg and Gettysburg. And he was wounded in combat and captured then. And he was exchanged in 1864 and held staff duty in Richmond. And in September 1864, he was made Major General in the defence of Richmond. His post-war career was lawyer, politician, and governor. As a result of his pre-war efforts, Virginia was well prepared militarily for the defence. So it's that kind of information for each of the Union generals and each of the Confederate generals who were Freemasons. Plus the fact, learning as much about the Civil War as I can is a great hobby. I know it's probably different for you guys in the States, but for me, it was a very special period of time. You know, the courage of these men, writing their names and addresses on the back of their jackets, and marching up the hill. Both sides. You know, we had the march against Stonewall Jackson, and we had the Battle of Gettysburg, that crossing of that mile and up the hill. And there are tremendous stories about what happened to some of the Masons and how they carried on. But anyway, that's that one, and reading, as I say, photography a little bit. But writing is a big hobby. I run one writers group, and I used to run another. That entails sort of giving people subjects to write, and then we would read out what were written, and we would have a critique or a helpful critique, no sort of pulling somebody apart. In the past, I'd enjoyed swimming and various things like that. But I also love history and archaeology and the history of medicine. You could say one of my great hobbies is collecting information, both useless and useful. My mind's full of odd facts that I can drag out occasionally. It's you know, I sometimes say to Carolyn, well, how can somebody who's a great genius like me die? That's a joke, by the way. So that's it. And I'd like to say to Waves of Java, you know, I love your site. I love Sophie, seeing her occasionally, and what you're doing for her. That's going to be such a benefit in the future for your family. You know, when grandchildren and great-grandchildren ask what you were like, to be able to show some of the videos that you've put up. And I wish you all the best and hope that you soon mount up those followers. You deserve it. You're a good man. But there again, so many of us are these days. I'm going to end there. I don't think I can think of a joke. Well, maybe just one, and I don't know whether I've told this before. If I have, forgive me. There was a Roman Catholic priest and a rabbi who were really good friends, but they were jealous of each other. And the Catholic priest sort of said to the Roman priest, "What do you do with your collection?" And he said, "Well, what do you do?" He said, "Well," we count it up and we divide it between the church and mission." And the rabbi said, "Oh, well, we don't really have a collection." He said, "If I'm given any money," he said, "I throw it up in the air and he keeps what he wants."